You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
What's up?
What's up, Ronnie Boo?
Nothing. How are you?
Stupid people. I'm great. How are you?
Good.
What's going on? So it's Saturday afternoon, doing the podcast coming out Monday.
That's true. Yep.
Right.
I'm a little tired. Sorry, that's a nice cube I'm chewing.
From your weekend excursions, your night excursion with the Bronchelorettes girls that came down for Bronchelorettes reunion girls tell all.
Yeah, so it's night 2 of 3 that we've gone out.
Right.
Tonight
Tonight they're all coming over.
Yep, they're all coming over tonight.
I've only
for
met them
barbecue.
for 10 seconds, not even.
And what are your thoughts?
There was no thoughts. It was just
I
a
know.
quick hug when I saw them get out of the car, and that was it. I have no thoughts in any. I don't even know who was even there.
Yeah. It's been interesting. They're all nice, and it's been fun. But last night got a little sloppy on multiple accounts.
Well, explain to me what do you mean?
There were just a lot of people making out with a lot of people.
So wait, who is a lot of people?
So I'm not going to say
girls
names
making
of
out
the
with
girls. No, I'm not. I won't say names of the girls. But Bryce was
Bryce
making out with the Bronchelorettes girl.
So he didn't tell me that.
Yeah, because why would he? And I didn't want to tell you because I wanted to save it to tell you here.
Fucking Bryce wouldn't tell
With
me.
one of the Bronchelorettes girls, one of my exes.
I
know,
gotta
that's
find
a
out
joke.
from Bryce. Can we call Bryce?
Jay was making out with one of the Bronchelorettes girls.
Jay
My friend
too.
Jay was. Yep.
Jaybird.
Yep.
Wow, I gotta find out.
So it was a night.
So tonight they're coming over. That would be a little interesting.
They're coming over
What's
tonight.
the thoughts of those girls thinking that we're making out, and you made out with one,
I made out with one as well. Yes.
which had to be hard for.
Well, it's a weird thing to make out with someone who I've already previously quote unquote dumped in front of 12 other girls who I've also dated and quote unquote dumped and quote unquote dated because did I
Not
really
really
date them?
dumped. You really, I mean, and then but so when you were making out with that one girl, it wasn't the one who won the Bronchelorettes.
Drama.
So that must have been hard for her.
It's a weird situation. Yeah, but
I think you made it very clear to everybody. Like, I think the relationship now is just friends, and we've all met through the podcast, and it's not, it just didn't work out for you, and it's okay. And
Right.
it is where you can't force that shit.
no, I always just live my life with how I wanted, like whatever I want to do.
With being sensitive to other people.
Of course, I'm not I was going to say I'm not a dick, but I guess I am a dick because
Oh, God.
people call me a dick all the time, so it's fine.
Well, then you need to reevaluate something if people are calling you a dick. all
Why?
the time. I don't know. Is that because you don't want to be known as a dick? You're too young to be known
If
as
I'm
a
known
dick.
as a dick by people who are super sensitive, I don't care.
No, but you understand.
The people who I like don't think I'm a dick.
Yeah, I get
Do you
it.
think I'm a dick?
No, but you can have a roughness about you, and you're 25, and I think maybe you can try not to be a dick.
Honestly, I try not to be. It's not, I never try to be a dick. It's that I just say things.
It's how you say things.
I say, but I don't mean to say I never mean to say something rude to someone or like insensitive or whatever. It's just sometimes I don't think of it as rude. I'm just like, why would you do that? But then to someone else, they're like, that's rude.
So maybe you need to think a little about your audience that you're speaking to when you speak.
Yeah, I know. I probably should.
That's a good little lesson and growth thing. Right?
Or the flip side of the coin is that we've built this successful podcast just on being who we are and saying what we want, and people like listening to it.
That's not what I'm saying. You need to know your forum and your place for things. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Honestly, I view the world now as like one big podcast.
You're an idiot.
No, like my friends, literally, when I'm with like a group of my friends and we're out to dinner or something, and I'll like start going off on a topic, they're like, "Stop! We're not on a podcast." They'll literally say that to me.
So this is one of those childhood success stories that have gone bad. So you're already letting it get to your head. I just think there's a time and place for everything. You need to know your audience. You need to know the setting you're in when you're speaking. I think that's a normal thing. Like for example, when I am maybe talking to a client, I'm talking to a client in a different way than if I would be talking to a podcast. If I'm talking out to dinner with guys, I might talk differently when I'm out to dinner with men and women. So
you're right.
So that's
you're 100% right, and
you
I should be better at that.
Yeah, you need to understand your surroundings and who you're talking to, and again, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Well, I don't give a shit." Like for example, certain people I'm talking to, I really don't give a shit. But if I offended somebody that I care about, I would give a shit.
Oh, I would never want to offend someone, especially someone that I care about.
Right, but so then if they think you're a little bit of a dick, then maybe I said, what you do come off in a certain way sometimes. It's not a negative.
No, I know I do.
Listen,
I'm aware
as a
of it.
matter of fact, so you need to maybe pull the reins back a little bit and be a little more open.
I know. No, look, I'm aware of it. And I
That's okay. It's all good.
sometimes it's so hard to like control myself. Like when we were, so a couple nights ago, Uncle Alec, who is our gay uncle, who was on the bonus Patreon episode of the podcast last week, patreon.com/daddyissuespod if you're interested.
What was that? I missed that. What was it?
Patreon.com/daddyissuespod.
Okay, I got it now. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Good.
So he was over to dinner. He was over at dinner 2 nights ago, Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night they were over for dinner, and we just started talking about the podcast episode because he listened back to it, and he said to me that what I was saying. So at the end, for those who didn't listen to that episode, at the end of it, I basically said, I was like, Black Americans
Culture.
I was like, yeah, like Black Americans are constantly, and this is a generalization, not everyone, but as a group, they're looking outwardly for problems, right? Like they're like, there's a problem in workplace culture, and so that's why we need to make jobs more equal. There's a problem in the police force towards us, so we need to make that better. And it's like, yeah, those are definitely problems, but I think some of the biggest problems in that community are within the community, cultural problems within Black Americans. And so I said that, and I stand by that 100%. I would say that to Black people. There are plenty of cultural problems within the white community. We have a terrible meth addiction in like rural white America that no one talks about, and it's destroying people. We have a terrible problem with white men becoming like weak and not whatever. So there are problems within cultures. And he basically said to me, he was like, that's really racist. That was really racist of you to say.
It was offensive or something. And you shouldn't say, because I'm your uncle. I'm like, you're his uncle. I said, I'm his parent. What difference is it?
And I just got, like, well, sometimes I can't help myself. And I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. No. And I know I'm like, I should not even be arguing this because there's no point in arguing. But I can't help myself. I have to say what I want to say.
No, but look, there's a whole different theory with the whole Uncle Alec and the whole woke culture, and I think the hypocritical saying one thing and living differently. It's just but I get it. So I understand why you're annoyed and
well, I just brought that up because I was saying like sometimes even though I'm aware,
it's a thing.
One part of my brain is saying, or one part of my brain is yelling and just saying what I want to say, and then the other part is aware and saying to the other part of the brain, "Hey,
you're wasting it.
Calm down. Stop. There's no point in doing this." But the yelling part always wins out. Always.
That's a Bloom thing, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's okay. It's not. But I just think I
get very passionate about.
There's nothing wrong with it. But at 25, I get as you get older, you get cynical. But you just,
I'm not. I don't view myself as cynical at all.
I'm saying you get more cynical as you get older, and therefore you have less patience and less tolerance, right. And you're like, I don't get, because I don't really give a fuck what someone thinks. But at 25, you can't think that.
I don't care what people think.
You understand something different, meaning.
But yes, I know what you're saying. And I think I have a lot of patience, and I don't view myself as cynical. But a lot of times I just say things when I want to say them.
Nothing wrong with that.
And a lot of people don't like that. That's what it is, I guess.
Well, I think you should. Everybody should be able to say what they want to say. Everybody, period.
But so I guess what we're saying is everyone should be able to say what they want to say, but you don't have to always say what you have. You don't always have to say it. Sometimes things are best left unsaid, even if you want to say them.
Yeah, but it's also possibly the way you say things. I get it.
Yes.
Not the way one says something.
Right. I agree. Right. But yeah, so the Bronchelorettes girls are all coming over to the house tonight. Should be very interesting. We're going out again tonight. Yeah,
it'd be interesting.
I just mean it'll be interesting now. So I mean, now they'll probably all be listening to this on Monday. So they'll all be home. So I can talk. I can say whatever I want on this episode, and I won't be seeing them again in person for a while, if ever. So what I mean is, like, I can say what I want about them. I'm just saying it'll be interesting tonight at the barbecue based on last night's fiasco, whatever you want to call it, shenanigans.
Yeah, and then tonight, so I'll have my own views on things too. So next podcast, I'll have my input as well.
Yeah, after tonight, you'll have met them all,
which will be the Patreon one.
But I just like, it's fun because they're all nice girls, Bronchelorettes girls listening. You're all great, but you're all a bunch of drama queens, and you know it. They love the drama.
Do you think they're putting it on for each other too?
Yes.
Like that's not really the reality of them. There's definitely a component of an affectation because of the environment.
Yeah, I think they are dramatic, but I think they also play it up.
Right, I think they're playing up. I think right, and also because they still might, feel a little uncomfortable. Like they were all drinking during the Zoom stuff because they were uncomfortable,
which is understandable.
And now they're here and they're competing, not intentionally competing, but somewhat competing because that's what women do among a group. And then, you know what I'm saying? Do you think any of them still like you?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell now. I think a majority of them don't. There might be a few who don't like me, but like
want to get up in that, up in here, up in there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be funny now seeing like they're probably all fucking stirring today.
Meaning what?
Because I was with one of them yesterday.
Have you looked in Discord? Anything on the Discord?
Not about Bronchelorettes.
Are you hooking up with one of them?
No, nothing about that.
Interesting. We'll see tonight how that girl reacts with you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be funny to watch.
Bryce too.
For like entertainment purposes, and Bryce too.
And Jaybird.
The girl that Bryce was with is the most non-drama out of the whole group. So I'm not saying names, but do with that what you will.
I know who it is.
I don't think you do.
Well, it's one of 12.
Yeah, but that's a big...
I'll find out. It's one of 11 because I know who you hooked up with.
Yeah, true. So it's one of 11.
And I'll call Jaybird right now. I know it's one of 10. Those are good odds.
Jay didn't even remember. Jay slept over last night because we got home at like 3 a.m. and he was like, I can't drive back.
No,
and his car was here. So he slept in the playroom. And this morning, I let him out early. I always wake up early after a night of drinking. I was up like 7 a.m. today, and so was he. So he came downstairs. I let him out, and he's like, please tell me nothing happened last night.
Wipe your lips.
And I was like, yeah, you hooked up with someone. Like you were macking on so and so. You were macking on beef all night.
Was she drunk too, or she knew what was going on?
No, she was drunk. I don't think she was drunk. But he goes, oh, you're messing with me. And I was like,
he was that drunk.
I was like, Jade, no, you were making out with beef all night. And he's like, what? I don't remember that at all.
That's not good to drink where you don't remember.
No, but Jay does that too, though. Like do
you believe him or just saying it?
I mean, his eyes seemed like he was shocked that I told him that. But yeah, very funny. But we can move on from all the Bronchelorettes stuff. But that's just to fill you all in. There's way more drama that's happened outside of the show than what was on the show. There was no drama within the show. Behind the scenes look, let me tell you guys, there was a lot of drama from the Bronchelorettes outside of the show that I just couldn't put on because I didn't feel like it was fair.
About Bryce.
Why?
I'm just curious. Wouldn't that make sense?
You're like who he was with?
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's just normal human.
I'm standing on the dance floor and I look over at the corner and Bryce is sucking this girl's face and I'm like, oh my God. So funny because it's literally one of the Bronchelorettes girls. So funny.
All right, so what do we got going on today, buddy?
The biggest thing in the world currently, which I don't know how we can lend anything to it, but so many of our fans asked us to talk about this, like the most requests I've ever gotten. But it's weird because I'm like, I don't know what we can add to it. But do you know what's going on in Cuba? Have you been up to date with what's going on?
I am not. I've been working like a dog.
So like if I said to you like
I answer is
Cuba,
I do not.
You have no idea.
I do not.
Okay. So Cuba,
I'm up early. I go to work. I get home late. I've been going.
No, totally. So that's why I'm asking.
I didn't get to watch the second season of Fear Street. Okay, so that's how busy I am.
Second movie.
Yeah, I'm stressing right now. I got to go do work after this.
So
I got to pay for the Hawaii trip, which is stressing me out.
Yeah, we had a whole Hawaii fiasco a couple days ago in the house.
Yeah, because
but we don't need to get into that.
Go ahead.
So Cuba is a communist country, right? One of the few left that exists.
We can get in a Hawaii fiasco if you want.
Well, what do you want to get it? I don't even know if that's that interesting. So as you listeners know, we're going to Hawaii next month, the Bloom family.
For 2 weeks.
And we get the hotel bill for
Because we need 3 hotel rooms.
we need 3 hotel rooms.
And it's $2,800. It's $3,000 a night.
Yeah. And so we didn't know that it was going to be that expensive. So then Dad gets the bills and he's like,
I'm not going.
we're not going to Hawaii. He's like, I'm not going. We're done. And then every other hotel is booked.
Three times 12. So it's $36,000 in a hotel room.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
Of course not. I would
Plus
never
excursion,
want
plus
to.
plane tickets, plus food. I'm not fucking doing it.
No, not at all.
I'm not spending $65,000 for a fucking trip for 12 days.
Agreed. That would be really stupid.
So I'm like, we're not going.
But then he goes, we're not going. So then we're making a mad scramble. 2 days.
Burke and Bryce are pissed.
Burke and I are like figuring out, okay, where else can we go? Croatia's open. Spain's open. Oh no, everything's sold out. And then Hawaii, there's no more hotel rooms in the whole state because everything's booked.
And they're that limited capacity still. They are
right. We did end up finding an Airbnb.
A nice one.
That is really great. And it'll low-key be better than hotel rooms. Because
nice.
we're all under one roof.
It's a nice big 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. It's nice. Right there overlooking the ocean. Still not cheap, but much less. It's half the price.
Yeah. Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we're still going to Hawaii. So we're going.
Still stressing.
Okay, so Cuba. Cuba's a communist country, as you know, right? Like the Castro dictatorship, if you will, authoritarian empire, whatever. Not empire, but last week, so through COVID, Cuba was like especially hit hard because one, there's like a trade embargo on them, right? So the U.S. says no, the U.S. is not allowed to trade with Cuba because we don't support their government and it's whatever. So through COVID, they had a really hard time with getting imports because they rely mostly on imports. They're a small nation,
like a third world,
and they're an island. They can't they just can't manufacture all their stuff. They can't farm all their own food and stuff. So through COVID, with the restrictions that the government put on them, with the restrictions that were on the rest of the world, they got hit really hard. Like they had a hard time. People couldn't get food, medicine. The government wasn't helping people with anything. So it was a problem. Last week, millions of Cubans, hundreds of thousands, let's say, of Cubans in Cuba took to the streets to revolt against the government, saying, we're done. We want an end to this government. It's with no more communist government, no more Castros. We're done. It was Cubans have never revolted, never before.
Because it's not progressing. You see, it's like going back to 1950.
Yeah, it's getting really bad.
Yeah, it's not progressing.
So it was the biggest protest in the history of the entire country. Wow. Like they're always very in line with the government. Like the government is very strict, and Cubans always follow.
Okay.
So they all took the streets in a protest, not violent. There was no no looting, no breaking things.
That.
They walked through the streets and said, "We, the people of Cuba, want to change the government." The government then sent in troops and said, fire at will. And they killed children.
No way.
Women.
No way.
Yeah.
You have footage of this?
Yeah. So there's footage of that first riot. So
oh my God, that's evil.
So the government just came in and said,
why didn't America step in?
Okay. So this is it's really complicated. And that's why people wanted us to talk about it, I guess. And people just kept saying, you have to spread the word about what's going on.
America needs to step in. I'm sorry.
Okay. So that was last week. Things have progressed a lot. So that was last week. And then the people were sharing videos of like the military just beating people up in the streets, literally like beating children up who are just marching with their parents.
Terrible.
So that footage spread out throughout the world. So then Cuba, the next day, the government shut down the internet. So for like 6 days now, there's no internet in Cuba. So we don't know what's going on in there.
It's terrible.
And no one's reporting on it.
America needs to put troops in there. Seriously.
So Biden, 2 days. So in Florida, especially South Florida, is very Cuban influenced, right? Like we have the most amount of Cuban immigrants in Florida outside of Cuba than the whole world. So the mayor of Miami was one of the first people to be like, Cuba is a failed state. We need to do something.
Absolutely.
Miami, any Cubans who are coming over, you're welcome to Miami. Yeah. Governor DeSantis said the same thing. Florida is a safe place for Cubans. This is a problem. What's going on there? We need to do something. It took about a week for Washington to say anything. And a couple days ago, Biden came out with a statement, like 3 sentences.
But it's doing nothing.
Just like, we denounce what the government is doing in Cuba. and like we stand with the Cuban people. That's really all Biden said. He did say yesterday, though, I did see a thing yesterday, which was great, actually. He said, I can try to find it. He basically just said, communism is it's a failed thing, which is huge coming from Biden.
No, because he wants socialism.
So he even said that. I'll find the quote. He said, communism is done. We've seen it tried and tried again. It fails every time. And what's going on in Cuba is horrendous. Let's see. Biden, communism failed. Oh, here we go. Let's see this video.
CNN. I want to know what America is doing to help Cuba.
Nothing really. I mean, this is a weird thing. The Washington Post article on this, the headline is Biden is forced to denounce communism.
What does that mean?
That's weird. A weird headline, isn't it? It should be Biden denounces communism, not forced to. Okay, let's watch this video. I think this is it. This is an ad. So while this ad plays, it's really bad what's going on, and I don't know how it's going to end. It either ends with the military really taking a strong stand and killing all the people who are revolting, or we have a new country, or Cuba, the people win, and we get a new country.
To Cuba, what is your current thinking on American sanctions toward Cuba and the embargo?
This was 2 days ago.
And today your press secretary said that communism is a failed ideology. I assume that's your view. I was wondering if you could also give us your view on socialism.
Communism is a failed system, universally failed system. And I don't see socialism as a very useful substitute, but that's
pretty big.
Cuba shit doesn't matter. Unfortunately, a failed state and repressing their citizens. There are a number of things that we would consider doing to help the people of Cuba, but it would require a different circumstance or a guarantee that they would not be taken advantage of by the government. For example, the ability to send remittances back to Cuba.
What?
I would not do that now because the fact is highly likely that the regime would confiscate those remittances or big chunks.
So he's saying they want to help, but they're not.
No, but okay, they don't need remittances. They need physical force to come in to stop the army from killing their own
But is that
people.
our place?
Yes.
Is that our place? It's a different country. It's a different country.
We went to the Middle East, and we for many years.
Yeah, but we went into the Middle East for oil, and everyone in America agrees now that it was a mistake to go into the Middle East.
I don't think it was necessarily a mistake, but hear me out from it. I think that 100% we are in a position to stop the bullying.
Yeah, and it is like a classic American thing to, in a communist state where people are marching for freedom. And Dad, this is another powerful image. There were before the government shut the internet down, the images of the protests, there were a lot of American flags being waved in the protest. Like people who were walking, marching for freedom were waving the American flag because it's a symbol of freedom.
It's an ideology, yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, part of me does think, you know what, it is.
No, I think
there are people who are crying out for freedom and democracy, and we're a beacon of freedom and democracy.
It's a little different if you're talking about like North Korea or Russia. Those are big, these are quasi equals, if not, powerhouse to America. It's different. But if we believe in freedom, we have a certain ideology. That's where we stand up. Sending in money is not going to help with the communists. No. That's the dumbest fucking thing.
That's just going to give shit to the government, more to the government.
Right. Just give, you got to take care of our own when it comes to economics. But if we have the power to do it and stop the abuse, it's like when America did nothing when Roosevelt did shit with the Jews in Germany and Hungary and Poland and all those places. They did nothing. So him saying about communism, socialism, I believe he believes that, but he's still controlled and owned by other people. So in his heart of hearts, he's not into. I don't think he has much. It's bullshit. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, AOC also came out with a statement.
Fuck Shay.
Let's see what her statement was. I didn't read it, but I saw a lot of things on my Instagram feed where people were like, "AOC's statement is horrible." Like whatever. So let's see what she said.
It's unbelievable she even has any say.
She said, "We are seeing Cubans rise up and protest for their rights like never before. We stand in solidarity with them and we condemn the anti-democratic actions led by President Diaz-Canel. The suppression of the media, speech, and protests are all gross violations of civil rights." Okay. Then she said the embargo The squad lawmaker went on to argue that the embargo is responsible for the U.S. contribution to Cuban suffering. This is a quote. The embargo is absurdly cruel, and like too many other U.S. policies targeting Latin Americans, the cruelty is the point. I outright reject the Biden administration's defense of the embargo. It is never acceptable for us to use cruelty as a point of leverage against everyday people.
How is it?
So we have a trade embargo on Cuba. Like the U.S. government for decades has said the U.S. and Cuba are not allowed to trade, which hinders Cuba. We're a big trading partner. So she's saying that the U.S.
is causing this.
Well, she's saying we're contributing to the problem, and that it's also, she said, the trade embargo is a specifically targeting Latin people.
No, it's not just happening to Cuba.
Right. She said
it's not a racial thing.
She said like too many other U.S. policies, the embargo targets Latin Americans, and the cruelty is the point.
Okay, so
that's missing the whole thing.
Well, she makes it all about racial because that's her agenda. It's not
racial and anti-America.
By the way, right, correct.
This has nothing to do with America or race. It's about Cubans marching for freedom,
about their government,
right? That's and then she's making it about how bad we are.
If this was in Thailand, it'd be Thailand people. Thai.
Yeah.
Okay. It just it's not a racial thing. It's just about the geographic and who lives there.
Right.
That's all it is.
And it's just about Cubans.
I look at her, I want to punch her in the fucking face. I'm sorry. Who the fuck is she? How did she get to be where she has a voice? It is shocking, Bronson.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen here?
The jury's still out. I mean,
do you have any footage?
Yeah, let's see.
Like what's going on in Cuba? I mean, I'm curious to know. It's a big concern.
The thing is, now no one knows because the government has locked it down. So people are still presumably fighting in the country for freedom, but we don't know.
How many people?
There's no cell signal. There's no internet. Like the government shut that stuff down.
Gestapo, right?
Yeah. Well, they're just fully authoritarian dictators now.
Who's running? Still the Castros?
No, it's Diaz-Canel is the president. Cuba protests. Let's see if we can find some footage.
And how do you get into how did he become president?
I don't know. I don't really know a lot of the story. Okay, so that's a picture. Let's see if we can find some video. Here's some video. It says on July 11th, peaceful protests erupted in different cities in Cuba. People exercised their rights to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, which the Cuban government have continued to deny for decades.
Wow, it's sad.
Protesters highlighted the economic crisis, including food and medicine shortages. They are demanding government intervention and accountability. Yet they were arbitrary arrests, internet blackouts, excessive use of force, and several people remain arbitrarily detained solely for protesting peacefully. The Diaz-Canel government must address the social demands of protesters. Yeah, that's all that's there.
So he's an asshole, this guy.
Oh, he's a dictator. Yeah.
People are so evil. It shocks me how people don't have any sense of remorse. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know what's going to happen anymore.
The power overtakes their sense of remorse.
Yes.
How do you not feel it? Like when you're lying in bed at night, how do you not feel that?
It's like you have to be an ego like
beyond.
And it's just once you have the power, then it changes you.
It's sociopathic.
Yeah. But I also think some people like aren't that way, and then when
as
they go through the process of getting the power, keeping the power, maintaining it, it changes how they think about people.
I don't think it happens overnight. I think it's gradual, like a snowball.
Yeah. And it's like how doctors work on like patients all the time, and they say they start to like not view people as human because it's just like that's what I think. I think when you're in a power position for so long and you're like making decisions that affect thousands of people's lives every day, you don't view them as individual lives. You're just like making things happen. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you're.
No, I get it. It's like
you're not thinking personally.
It's like
anymore.
when you work as a waiter, you don't want to go out to a restaurant to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah. So that's what's happening in Cuba right now.
I'm sorry.
And we have a lot of Cuban listeners, and so they've reached out. So thank you guys for reaching out and letting us like sharing info with us and
they
wanting us to
reached
speak
out to
on
us
it.
because they wanted to spread the education.
Yeah, I can even I'll read you some of the DMs. Let's see, because they wanted us. They were like, no, not enough people are talking about this, and you guys have a platform. You should talk about it.
I think America should get involved. It's disgusting.
So this is a listener of ours. Let's see. Where'd it go? Oh, it's on my personal. Let's see. She said, please spread the word for my country. They are killing my people for only wanting the Castros and all their dictatorship system out of our country. We all want liberty, not food or vaccines for COVID. We are chanting for liberty. Then I spoke to her about it a little bit. She said, please consider this as one of your priorities for the next episode. They are trying to silence what's happening. We need all the support that we can get. The government shut down the internet so people have no way of communication, and neither the Cubans around the world to know about their loved ones.
Wow.
So that's one of our listeners. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. So no one knows what's going to happen.
Okay.
Hopefully, I would love. The best case scenario in the world for any group of people is to gain your freedoms back. So if the Cuban people can take control and then make their own democracy and have a free Cuba.
How great would that
That's
be?
the best thing
That would
ever.
be- I
That's
agree.
good for the world. That's
Right.
The whole world should want that to happen.
Well, there's not a lot of people. Listen, this is the reason why we say, Bronson, whether you agree or disagree, the First Amendment and you're right, and speaking up is important, because if we don't allow it, this can happen.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
You give up power. You said from the beginning, once you give up power, no one's giving it back.
No, a government has never in history given powers back to the people.
People don't, period.
Right. But especially the government's job is to consolidate power. So if you give them any bit, they keep it. They're not going to give it back. So speaking of that, there are a few other stories about American government taking liberties. And you can see in these times that it's like we're on a path where we don't know the end of the path yet, but the path is definitely leading towards a Cuba-like situation in America, where we have a totalitarian government running our country. Because every day, the government in this country makes decisions that take more power away from individual Americans. And individual Americans give it up.
They give it up. So
they
if you speak to people that came from communistic countries to America, they all say, every one of them I spoke to say, this is exactly what I left.
Right.
Listen, they go, this is what I left, and this is what we see, and this is where it's going in America. They're concerned because they lived it.
They saw it firsthand.
So, right. That's what I'm saying. We didn't. So we could just talk about it as whatever and propaganda, the whole 9 yards and the power. But they say we 100% left our countries. I speak to people all the time. There's a guy,
and they saw the country when it was prosperous and great.
Correct.
Then saw it fall into that.
I was talking to another guy yesterday when I was in the cigar shop because I had to get some lighter fluid. And he's from another country. We were talking about it. And he says, this is what I left. And we're going there. We're closer to it happening than not.
We have a lot of, being in South Florida, we have a lot of Hispanic refugees, immigrants that come here. Like Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia. And they leave bad countries that have fallen into communism and ruin
What about
to come here.
Eduardo Maria tell us about Venezuela.
Yeah. And literally those people, the Cubans here in Florida, are the biggest Republicans you'll ever meet, simply for the fact that they saw the dangers of communism and socialism.
And they see this going on now. It's a problem.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens. Who knows? The government could consolidate even more power, and then Cuba becomes even a worse country for the people because the government is even stronger.
I think America needs to step in. I'm just curious to know what they're doing.
I wonder if Trump was president, what would have happened?
He would have gone.
He probably would have stepped in. I don't know.
Can you tell me Trump's views on Cuba?
I don't think he said anything. Let's see. Does he even say anything about anything anymore?
I don't know.
Okay, here. This is from Florida Politics. Donald Trump slams Joe Biden Cuba response. Former President Trump on Thursday offered a scathing critique of the Biden administration's response to the event in Cuba. Quote, this is a quote from him. I fought for Cuba, they didn't. The proud people of Cuba are desperate to be free from the iron boot heel of the island's wicked communist regime. These incredible warriors for freedom risk everything to take to the streets. I stand in total solidarity with the fighters in Cuba. The Biden administration's refusal to forcefully condemn communism in the Cuban regime is a national travesty. The Biden administration's ludicrous suggestion that the Cubans are protesting government mismanagement, not brutal communist oppression, is an insult to every Cuban patriot who has suffered, been imprisoned, or died in the pursuit of freedom.
He didn't write that, obviously.
Obviously not. Okay, so back to America. There are a few things this week that in America that are concerning, that go down this path. So this was the biggest one for me. This one's really scary. And so this one's really scary and no one's talking about it because it's buried in this, okay? So this is a Politico article. Politico is one of the most reputable news sources for government. I mean, they're like a top one. And they purposefully wrote this article this way, okay? Like this was purposeful. So the headline is, White House goes off on vaccine fearmongers. The administration has shifted to a head-on strategy to dispel fearmongering over its door-to-door efforts. So remember we talked about how they're going to go door-to-door. A lot of people are against that. So now the White House is trying to say, no, it's good. We're here to help, whatever. Buried in this article. Okay, look, I'm going to keep scrolling. Okay, this paragraph, where we're 5 paragraphs down. This paragraph is terrifying. Ready for this? I'm going to read it. Biden allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are planning to engage fact checkers more aggressively and work with SMS carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. Do you realize what that sentence says?
No.
It says, Biden and the Democratic National Committee are going to work with SMS carriers, meaning Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, phone networks, to dispel misinformation sent over text messages. They're going to be reading our text messages. Everyone.
Is that what that says?
I'm going to read it again. Biden allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are planning to engage fact checkers more aggressively and work with SMS carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. How will they know what's sent over text messages unless they're reading all our text messages?
You think, okay, so that can be class action lawsuit against the phone companies to allow that.
I'm sure in the 30-page contract and terms that we signed with Verizon.
I still think it's a constitution. I'd be curious to know.
But the police can get your phone records and your texts.
No, they have to get a court order for it.
Okay. But what if the government just does it?
I don't know. No, because the government can't do without a court order. You know what I'm saying? I don't think.
The government is the courts. They're all
different branches. There's different judicials. There's different organizations.
I mean, we already knew that it was proven that the NSA was spying on all our internet stuff. So what's to stop them from going through our text messages?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to find out. I have no idea.
And then the sentence after says, the goal is to ensure that people who may have difficulty getting a vaccination because of issues like transportation see those barriers lessened or removed entirely.
Oh, transportation. That's the reason. Give me a fucking break.
That's absolutely terrifying. And it's buried. That should be the headline of this article. Biden wants to monitor text messages for vaccine misinformation. So they're literally the U.S. government's going to be reading all our text messages for vaccine misinformation. It's like, if you text me something about the I word that we talked about, what are they going to do? Shut our phones down because we were spreading vaccine misinformation?
Yeah, sort of just like what TikTok did with us, which shut us down. Are we back with TikTok?
Yeah. Our views have been very good, actually, the last week.
Really?
I posted a video or the clip about us talking about Cuomo's daughter coming out as demisexual, and it has 500,000 views.
Wow. How many did my dance get?
We're at 1.3 mil.
For what?
1.3 mil on that dance.
The dance or the Saturday Night Live one?
Oh, the Saturday Night Live. Oh, the dance one got 15,000 so far.
Really? That's weak.
No, it just it fluctuates.
All right.
This is really scary, and what's scary now is that like this doesn't bother people. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't seem to bother you.
Okay, it bothers me. I just don't know what to do about it. Like,
right, that's the problem.
Like,
what do we do?
So the government,
they have so much control. We can't do anything anymore.
Excuse me. I think we got to get rid of the fucking government. So let's just pray in like 2 years, the new government comes in. Let's fucking pray.
Every government is about
But not
power.
if we get Trump in.
Yes.
No, forget the power for a moment. If you get someone that comes in that's independent, not a politician, forget Trump for a second. That's independent, but then maybe they stop this stuff that believes in capitalism and business and
one person
entrepreneurship.
one person can't stop. The government's too big for one person to be able to do anything.
Gotta get rid of these.
And it's
bad
all
people.
power.
They're bad people.
So the U.S. government is going to be reading our text messages. So when we say Cuba shut down the internet and they're restricting people's access to Facebook, and we're like, that's horrible. That's a third world country dictatorship. It's like, that's what's happening in America. Speaking of Facebook,
Did they say they can allow it? Is it said, or that's what they're trying to do?
it says they're going to engage fact checkers more aggressively and work with SMS carriers. So they haven't laid out details.
I don't know,
but because they're purposely not talking about details.
If the carrier will allow it, just being honest.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They have so many backdoors and shit.
I don't know.
We sign all these terms and conditions that we have no idea what's even in them. So speaking of Facebook this week. So this headline is from the BBC. It says, Facebook tests extremist content warning messages. It says Facebook is testing a feature in the US that asks users if they are worried somebody they know is becoming an extremist. You gotta be kidding me. Other users may receive an alert saying that they may have been exposed to extremist content.
Extremist. What does that even mean? That's so subjective. This is what they want to do. Is they want people to
report other.
Yeah.
So they can isolate. That's the end.
Could you imagine?
That's what happened. That's the true start to real.
It's like this
war.
You tell me there's 10 kids. You tell me which one of you guys. If you guys tell us who started the fight, we'll reward you. And you always then fucking
if you have the people turn on the other people, then it's game over.
Pussies, bunch of fucking.
So it says here, screenshots would pop up on people's Facebook pages saying, "This is a quote: Are you concerned that someone you know is becoming an extremist, or you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently?"
Could you exposed to harmful? How is that? Is that a disease?
Yeah, literally exposed to harmful content.
Exposed to harmful, not like.
And who deems content harmful?
Not. You might have breathed in some toxic, gases.
Yeah.
Okay. Harmful content.
And Facebook, the all-seeing eye.
Which remember when we said so-and-so should be shot in the head, they took that off because someone thought it was, but not when I said so-and-so should be shot in the head, they left that on.
Because one's harmful, one's not.
Right.
To them.
So my point is, that's a fucking joke. How we got banned from TikTok. This to me is scarier than text.
And
because you can buy phones where you can have them fucking where they whatever they call them. They're like these
burners,
whatever. This is scary shit. Let the people like this is what the Germans did. There's a Jew.
Right. If you have neighbors turn on neighbors, that's the end.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's when the country can never come back when neighbors are suspicious of neighbors.
And by the way,
you need to be strong with your neighbors.
I'm okay with extremists on both ends. You need that. You have a religion.
You need extremists.
That's
what humans. There's always extremes in humanity.
Oh, this one is bad. This one's much worse.
And then it says, so after those messages pop up, then it says you can take action now to protect yourself and others. Then both prompts will direct users to a page with support related to extremism. Facebook said tests identified both users who may have been exposed to rule-breaking extremist content and users who had previously been the subject of enforcement on the platform. So they're banning people left and right on Facebook
on what they do.
for being extremist. And then they're asking other people to report them for being extremist. And we've got,
by the way,
TikTok asks our watchers to report us every day.
But that's China.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. That's China. Different philosophy than America. So here's the best part. It's not going to be extremists that are in their favor. Those won't be considered extremists.
Well, then that's the problem is then Facebook, they're going to get rid of every right-leaning voice. And then Facebook will just become a
platform
for the left. But that's not good because then if you're only seeing things that are one-sided, you don't live in reality. And so that's why, like, when Trump won the presidency back in 2016 against Hillary, so many people in this country were so shocked. They were like, how could this have ever happened? And it's like, because you're only in your world, right? So if Facebook is only the left, like, this country is going to split into two because half of the country is not going to know what the other half of the country thinks or feels, and that's super dangerous. You want to know how your enemy thinks all the time.
Why even enemy? It's just a difference of opinion.
But
I get
I'm
it,
using
but
like
all this is a different opinion. It's no different when they call the White House. That was a not a riot. What was it called? That was a riot.
when they called the White House.
When not the White Capitol.
The Capitol Hill.
That was a riot. But the BLM, what happened with that
protests.
stuff, were protests burning down. So here's the thing. That's going to cause people to want to get off Facebook, period.
Yeah, I mean, who even is on Facebook anymore, really?
Yeah, but it's bad. Next is going to be, doesn't Facebook own Instagram?
Yeah.
So is that
Instagram's the biggest one. Yeah, Facebook owns Instagram. And we're not allowed to, I'm trying to get it reversed, but our Instagram page at daddy_issues podcast.
What was that? What is it?
At daddy_issues podcast.
Okay, I wrote it down.
On Instagram. We're not allowed to promote our posts. We're like suspended from promoting our posts, which is that's how you get more followers, is you pay a little bit of money and it puts your stuff in the front. We're not allowed to do it because we had like harmful language in one of our things.
And we've seen a lot of people push it out there. Ours is not harmful.
Of course.
It's just different of opinion.
Of course.
Harmful language, saying cocksucker, this or that, whatever.
That's not harmful.
No, I mean, I don't think it's harmful, but that's more egregious.
I think you said retarded in one of them, and that's what did
That's
it for
more
us.
egregious than what we say.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
people
scary world. I don't know what to do.
That when the media or the social platforms are doing this and making exactly what fits into their wheelhouse, it's a problem. And that to me is the biggest concern about the texting. Both of
those things.
Bad.
If I said to you, there's a country like in the Caribbean
that's reading everyone's text,
that the government is reading everyone's text for misinformation, and
no, it's bad.
And they're asking people to report other people on social media, you'd be like, wow, that's China.
Fucked up. Yep.
That's happening here.
Yep.
That's happening.
It's fucking retarded.
And even so, like I use Signal. Signal is an app that encrypts your messages. So I have it. It's like my top app right here. So it's an app. It's a texting app. It's full text messages, but it's encrypted. So no one besides you and the person that is receiving it can have
but they
access
have to have that. They have to have.
They have to also have Signal, and it's fully encrypted within the app. No one else can read it.
So who's on that? Like, show me what it looks like.
It's just a text message app. There's no one else. Todd's here. It says Todd Alper's on Signal. So I can text him.
Why is he doing that?
You should download Signal. Everyone should have it.
Because everybody in your contact?
It finds the contacts who are on your contacts in your phone. It finds who's on Signal, and it also does it. But so Signal protects
Text
your
Todd
messages.
right now and ask him why he use Signal.
My dad wants to know why you're on Signal. You should be on Signal. The fact that the government is now going to be reading our text messages, we need to all be on apps like Signal so that they don't have access to our things. So it's encrypted, right? So it shows that it's locked in and that no one can read it. I can also set it so that our messages disappear after 5 minutes.
How can no one read it?
Because it's only within the app. So no one has
What
access
is this?
to the app.
I want to get Todd on the phone. Which one is the Bluetooth? Okay, let's see if it connects. Okay. I don't understand this.
But so everyone should be in Signal, but then also the government is trying to take Signal down.
Yes, I understand that.
The government is trying to get rid of Signal.
Not in different language. He just gets in regular language.
He gets in regular language, but it's only between me and Todd. No one else can see it.
How do you know?
Apple doesn't have access to it.
How do you know? Hey, Todd.
I just called to say hi.
Listen, you're on the podcast live right now. Well, not live, but you're on the podcast right now. Okay?
Hi, Todd.
Great. Listen, you have to talk to my agent before I join the podcast.
Shut up, you retard. Shut up, you retard. Listen to me for a minute. Why you're on Bronson
Signal?
Says you're on Signal, which is that
Encrypted messaging app.
You're on Signal?
Okay. How many subscribers do I have at this point?
No. Do you understand what I'm asking for, Todd?
What?
Okay.
Are you asking for my permission to be on a live podcast?
No, he wants.
I don't need your permission.
He wants
you're from
to know why you're on
California.
Signal, why you're on the app Signal, because I'm on it too.
Oh, I'm not on the app Signal. I just picked up my phone. You called me.
No.
I answered my
Todd,
phone.
did you get a text from Bronson just now?
Do you have the app called Signal, right?
Let me check. I happen to be driving, so out of safety, I'm pulling into a rest stop off the Merritt Parkway, and I am going to be checking my text. Give me 1 second. I've just pulled into a parking
Does
spot.
he have to go into Signal app to check your text?
Although he has no idea what we're talking
He's
about.
an idiot.
It's a beautiful day in New York off the Merritt Parkway.
Todd.
By the way, the whole reason I'm in New York is because of daddy issues. Your dad, John Bloom, why I'm in New York and not in California.
Right. California is just as bad. You should have followed me to South Florida like I told you to.
It's not too late.
He'll be here eventually.
I'll follow you down there sometime.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
There's a app you have in your phone called Signal.
Okay, got it. So should I actually? A friend of mine last week told me to install that on my phone.
There you go.
So
Okay.
I did that last week, but I've never actually used it before.
Okay. Do you know what?
He sent me like a picture of it.
Do you know what it is?
He said it's like a secure messaging app.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, I use it now, and I'm trying to get all of everyone who I know to be using that exclusively because our text messages aren't safe anymore.
So we should put Love My Boys group on that. You should tell them.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, Love My Boy. Nothing happens in that we're worried about. Although we kind of do talk about COVID sometimes in that.
I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
I don't even care about it. We don't put it. All right, Toddy.
How did you know I had that app on my
Because
phone?
you
everything's so secure.
No, because because we share, like, you're in my phone contacts, and so it popped up in my Signal app that you joined Signal.
I'm just honored to be in your phone contact.
Okay,
Of
Toddy.
course.
So Toddy, we're gonna hang up from you because you don't have anything that exciting to add right now to the podcast.
Wait, there's a lot going on. I can talk about a variety of topics. I have a lot of interest, and my life is always evolving and interesting.
Your
So
life
ask
is,
me a
by the way, but Todd, I've known you for 35 years. Your life is not evolving and is not as interesting.
I happen to be just on the verge of breaking through as a TikTok star. I'm working on my dancing. I'm going to send some tapes to Charlie D and to Addie Ray.
Charlie D and
I'm
Addie
also working on
Ray.
I've got a cooking channel going on, and I'm thinking of launching that. So I just could use your advice on a lot of different.
Sure, Todd. But
Todd, have your people call our people.
The problem is, Todd, we have a very bad cell right now. We're going through a tunnel.
Okay, listen. If your subscriber rate jumps because of this call, I just want some residuals. Nothing
So
big.
just so you know, everybody, Todd, I've known Todd for 30 plus years. We went to college, undergrad, went to law school together. We've been best friends for years. And Todd is a typical dad. He wears, I think he's probably like 6'4", size 13 feet. His toes could be used as fingers if you ever get an amputated finger. And he's a typical dad. He wears cargo shorts, t-shirt, and the fucking flip-flops. And he runs like a dad. And you're about as athletic as a dad too, right?
I resent that. I wear New Balance.
Right, New Balance.
New Balance are back in though, Todd.
No, he doesn't know. He's not doing it from that standpoint.
I told you.
As long as you stick with one fashion item for long enough, it'll come back in style.
And now he's wearing New Balances, but he doesn't know they're bad. But he wears New Balance, and his shoelaces are so long that the bunny ears are huge on his fucking shoelaces.
Just listen to me. First of all, I'm coming back. I got Invisaligns going. I got about another 3 weeks on that, and then my teeth will be straight like they were when I had braces. But then I didn't wear them, so they got crooked. And I think that's why, cosmetically, I haven't been as popular online as I could be.
That's why.
But
yeah,
I got
that's
about
why.
3
That's
weeks
it,
left
Todd.
on the Invisalign.
Todd, we are going through a tunnel right now, so we're losing you. All right, we love you.
Whoa.
What?
Be careful, Todd.
Were you blowing your nose?
You want to get interesting? I have a lot of inside information on your dad, Bronson. So
That's true.
On your what?
He said, I have a lot of information on your dad.
I know all his dark secrets.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so
I hung up on him.
Okay.
That's like Dad's best friend from college.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
He's pissed I hung up on him, but gotta go. Want to keep our listeners.
But yeah, everyone should download Signal. But then also,
See, at my age, I could do that, Bronson. You can't do that.
I can do whatever I want.
And there's the dick.
I just know I'm trying to find.
He lives in like fucking northern Westchester County in New York. I'd fucking kill myself.
See, look at this right here. So I just Googled Signal app, and there are all these articles about how Signal isn't good or Signal isn't.
Because they
and
want
it's because it's a threat. Because
No,
it's literally a threat.
It's propaganda.
Look, this right here. Messaging app Signal not an appliance with new rules, say official. Likely to be liable under the Information Technology Act. Like Signal, the auto-deleting messaging app ministers are accused of downloading something. So
I think it's great.
There's all.
I think it's great.
The fact that an app where it's just you text and no one else can see it is being trying to be taken down means that it's a threat.
But maybe we'll get more of this, more people to know about it. I think it's
everyone
great.
should don't use iMessage. Just use Signal.
So you have to go into.
So instead, it's an app, but it's you know how you click the little green thing to go text.
Right.
Instead of that, you just click this, and all your contacts are there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's pinned. So it like.
What does that mean?
It asks you to verify your PIN every time you go into it. You can change that.
Yeah.
But it's like it's trying to be as secure as possible. But yeah, that's one way to combat it.
And another way to combat it is we just have to keep speaking up. We really do, Bronson.
Yeah.
We really, really need to speak. And by the way, everyone needs to speak up.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to speak up.
I truly think it's getting better. Speaking of, this is an interesting story. And it's about people speaking up and like changing how it used to be. So LA, as of today's Saturday, as of today, in LA County, the mayor's office and the county officials have said, we are requiring masks indoors again, even if you're fully vaccinated. So even if you're fully vaccinated in Los Angeles County, you have to wear a mask inside any establishment now, required because of the Delta variant.
Fucking retards.
LA County Sheriff, the sheriff's office came out and said, we will not be enforcing the mayor's rule as there is no scientific evidence to suggest that the mask wearing is going to stop the Delta variant, and people who are fully vaccinated don't need to wear masks.
It's all about
but that's a huge change.
Yes, it is.
That LA Sheriff and
yep.
LA Mayor are now against each other in terms of that.
Todd, text me.
Me too. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I know my appearance will increase your demographic reach and subscriber base. Happy to help.
I say I love you. Okay.
Isn't that crazy though that LA has mask restrictions again? We're in July of 2021.
Bronson, when things started opening back up and they said get the vaccine, and they were talking about getting the vaccine and then the minute that Fauci said, "Oh, the mask really we don't know," didn't the Delta variant come out? Because it's all about control and keeping people down. We know that.
But that's definitely a big development that LA mayor said we will not be enforcing this. It does not go again. It does not follow the science. And so that is someone speaking up against the grain that's not what would have happened a year ago. And it didn't. LA County Sheriff was all for
Yeah, LA still got the fucking problems.
Right, but I think it seems like things are changing because people are so fed up with it. People are literally like in LA, people aren't going to wear masks. They're like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm over it. Like even far left people are just like, I'm over it. It's too much. So we'll see.
I hope because it's getting so bad.
I mean, you can even see it with just migration patterns. The amount of people moving out of California is insane, and they're all moving to either Tennessee, Florida, and Texas.
I get it, but I don't want them. They're voters now. That's the problem. They're going to vote Democrat.
Right.
And fuck it up.
That's
what will happen if they're voting Democrat. They're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So don't come here.
Yeah.
Don't come here. Period.
But people vote with their wallets, and people vote with
they're not voting as much with their wallets.
But you know what I'm saying? Wallets. Like people are clearly not liking what California is doing because they're all leaving. Like I'm trying to leave California and you can't. Movers are so fucking expensive because everyone's leaving. If I was moving from Florida to California, it's literally half the price of moving to from California to Florida, or vice versa, whatever I said. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about. So you know how Time magazine every year they do a Time Person of the Year.
Yeah, big fucking deal.
So
is this a transgender person now?
So
is it a transgender person?
No.
Is it another fat person?
It's kind of worse. No, it's not
like a Lizzo. How beautiful she is.
No, there's no person yet. They released their criteria. They released like their nominees, and then
who were the fucking nominees? And then the same nominees as Victoria's Secret.
So this Odd Shark, the Twitter account, which is like a betting company, and they give
Joe Biden's one of them.
Just Dad, chill out. Fuck. So Odd Shark, stop reading it. I'm going off of it.
No.
Odd Shark gives.
You smell cooking?
Yeah, they're probably cooking something in the kitchen. OddsShark gives betting odds, right? So they'll say like in the Lakers game versus whatever, like the Lakers are plus 300 to win, right? They give you based on the facts who they think is going to win. So I want to read you their ranking, who they think is going to get it, and
they're doing the ranking.
just who even is nominated. I got to read you the first one who they think is going to win.
This is not Time's nominations. This is who OddsShark's thinking that the Time's going to do.
No, Time has the nomination that this is who OddsShark is putting out the odds, who they think. They said the number one person they think is going to win it, which I agree. This one should be it, and if Time doesn't do it, then they royally fucked up. Healthcare workers is number one to win. That makes sense. No one can be on the other side of that. Time Person of the Year, healthcare workers.
And they're going to choose an individual person.
No, they never do. The last 10 years, they've never chosen an individual person. They choose
like is this Person of the Year?
No, yeah, they've always done that. Last year, they chose, let's see, Time Person of the Year.
It used to be Man of the Year.
Oh, well, Time Person of the Year 2020, you know who it was? Biden and Harris. Biden and Harris were Person of the Year 2020. Trump was Person of the Year 2016. But usually they choose people. Like a lot of times they'll choose groups. They'll choose. But so healthcare workers has the greatest odds to win.
Okay,
that makes sense. That's like, how can anyone disagree with that? All right,
I get it.
Next is the World Health Organization.
Why?
No, but
that's a political thing.
The World Health Organization
is the worst.
Through this year, we've learned is the most corrupt.
Ruined it.
Corrupt.
They caused the problem.
Evil, illegal scam.
Never even heard
of
the World Health Organization before COVID.
They're China owned. They knowingly downplayed the virus in the beginning. They knowingly lied. In the beginning, they said there is no evidence for human-to-human COVID transmission, meaning that you can't get it from another human.
All right, so they're What's the next one?
Next is Joe Biden.
Not again.
Then Anthony Fauci.
Oh, my God.
Then Kamala Harris. Then journalists. First of all, there's no such thing as journalists anymore. There's no journalists.
It's editorials.
Yeah. Then epidemiologists. That one makes sense. That's like doctors who focus on viruses and evolutionary stuff like that.
Please.
Next, Black Lives Matter.
Okay, if they do that, that's
then
crazy.
Climate activists.
What?
So on this list,
okay, do you look at the list? Other than the first one's worthless.
If it's any other one besides the first one,
ridiculous.
It's a huge problem.
It's ridiculous.
Tell me how Kamala Harris should be the Person of the Year this year. What did she do?
I think
she didn't go to the border. That's the only thing she did.
I think they're going to choose a gender thing.
No, not with COVID. They got to choose a COVID-related thing.
No, I think it's over. I think they're going to do a gender thing.
Healthcare workers, World Health Organization, Joe Biden, Anthony Fauci, Kamala Harris, The journalist one is the one that cracks me up the most, honestly.
That list is a joke.
Black Lives Matter is on there, too.
But what's it say about the world? That list is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
That's a fucking joke. Who do you think it should be?
I think it should just be like frontline workers.
If not them, who else do you think?
Person of the Year. I don't know. What do we think? What do we think of what Person of the Year is? Most impactful or best? Because most impactful is very different.
Could be most impactful, most influential, most humanitarian.
You know who my Person of the Year is?
Who?
You.
You're so full of shit. Be nice if that's what you thought, but
if I had to choose one, I wouldn't choose anyone other than you right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you, bro.
You were most impactful in my life this year.
Thank you. Good. That's nice.
The first tweet to this says, the first one is the most logical, so it'll likely be one of the rest.
That's so true, but that's perfectly said, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's some other
And
ones?
then this person said, this list tells you all you need to know about how meaningless this award is.
And the world we live in.
And then someone said, only 3 of those are even a person, and it's just the people in the biggest 3 positions of power in the country.
It's such a joke. That first one was great.
Yeah.
It is meaningless.
Oh, of course. Who's read a Time magazine since 1958?
I think it's just more a tradition
right,
about
it is.
life and things like that.
Yeah. It's just something that they have to do now. They probably don't even make that much money off Time.
It's a fucking joke. I like to see Sports Illustrated.
Who even uses Sports Illustrated? Who
Swimsuit.
even buys magazines anymore?
Magazines. Who buys magazines? Yeah.
Cigarettes. Imagine if Fauci got it. He could.
There's no way.
Who do you think
He's
it should be?
incompetent. I'm trying
Who do
to
I think? Besides like someone, let's say like someone.
What if they took the guy? Is it Floyd?
George Floyd.
Would they
Oh,
do
I'm
that?
shocked he's not on this list.
Do that? Could you
Oh
imagine?
my God.
That
Although
would be offensive.
low key, George Floyd is one of the most influential people of the last year. Impactful.
No, his death was not him. There's a difference.
Someone's death is them.
No. Martin Luther King was an influential person. There's a difference. So
George Floyd's life, not his actions.
So Martin Luther King, who's respectable in men, who was good,
Who actually caused change, his own person
who
caused
did
change.
good, and therefore when he died, I agree that 100% should be a holiday. He was a martyr. He was great. He was an icon.
One of the best men in America in history.
He was an icon. He was real. I mean, again, just talking about like, I have no issue with that. Like, meaning that guy deserves to be honored every fucking year. Okay.
Yep.
But George Floyd's, it was not him. It could have been any black person.
Right. All he did was just die.
He happened to be a criminal, by the way. So what I'm saying is, maybe
being a criminal doesn't make you a bad person.
Maybe no.
We have criminals in our family.
Maybe it should be the cop who did it because he was so bad in what he did that his
spurred all this
actions.
stuff. That's actually a great point.
Influential that his action. But there's a difference.
Wait, you're sorry. Derek Chauvin is more impactful than George Floyd.
I want to say this for a second. George Floyd was a pawn and was passive and had no involvement in anything whatsoever, did not contribute anything other than him committing a crime. Just hear me out for him. The other guy, what's the police officer's name?
Derek Chauvin.
Derek Chauvin made a conscious choice in a fiduciary role as a police officer to act improperly, intentionally, whatever, but made a conscious choice. He should be idolized and used as the example, not George Floyd to support a movement.
Not idolized is not the word, but you mean.
Did I say idolized?
Yeah.
I didn't mean idolized.
He should be.
He
should be the.
He should be.
I don't even know what the word is.
The barometric, whatever the.
He should be the face for the movement in terms of this is what we're trying to change.
Correct.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that.
So that's what, if the issue is cigarettes, you say cigarettes are bad and use this, you know what I'm saying? You don't, that bad analogy.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by
I was trying to figure, but it didn't come out as smooth as I like it to be. But my point is, George Floyd had nothing to do with it. Right?
Correct. He didn't cause any of the actions.
Who's the police, not police, the football player who used to, with the dogs, who used to...
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. The dogs were just pawns. Michael Vick should be the one that should be the face, which they did make an example out of him.
They made a big example out of him.
My point is, so what I'm saying is, so we all know Mike, we should learn from that.
Right.
He made
we weren't talking about the dogs the whole time. We were talking about Michael Vick.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's actually a great point.
Thank you, Bronson.
Derek Chauvin is one of the most influential people of the year.
Influential.
Yeah, influential.
Not impactful.
He influenced a lot of things that happened this year.
So when the cops are doing better training from the higher ups to the lower police officers, they should have a poster of him saying, "Don't be this."
Right. This is what we're striving
don't
against.
Don't have a picture of saying, "Don't be anti-racial." Just say, "Don't be this for the following reasons."
Yeah.
Big difference. But it doesn't meet the agenda.
Well, it's way easier to start a movement on a black man dying than it is on a white man killing a black man. No one wants to get behind a movement about a white man killing a black man, but a black man being a martyr is a very easy movement to get behind. Because how can you be on the other side of it?
Yeah, but
that's how they're using it.
He did nothing. He did nothing.
Correct. He
did nothing.
Which is not bad nor good. He just died.
It's a fact.
It's sad.
I'm not. It's a fact. He did nothing.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, also speaking of, I'm wearing my daddy issues hot dad summer hat.
We have 5 hats left. I'm looking at them.
1, 2, 3. Yep, 5 hats left forever. So
that's it.
So if you want to get one, daddyissuesthepodcast.com
and we'll sign them.
Shop.
We're going to go live this week. We're going to sell them live. Guaranteed. They'll be gone when we go live.
And if you want if you want us to sign them, we can do that as well.
They're going to be gone. 5. We haven't gone live in over a week. We're going to go live this week. Coming up week, they'll be gone.
Yeah. So this comes out Monday. If you're listening to this before we go live Monday night or on Tuesday, get them. 5 left.
I might keep an extra one in case one gets ruined.
I already took 2 away because
so
I want to wear one.
I need one. I need one more to wear.
Yeah. So there's 4 left, I guess.
Yeah, because I might want to run.
No, I like having one that I can wear and then one that I can just have. Because it's I want to have this forever.
I agree. I'm going to put, so I want one of those.
Okay. Just pay me $30.
Okay. I'll Venmo you my ass.
All right. We love you all.
Love you, Bronny.
Love you too. Follow us on Patreon if you're interested in getting an extra episode a week. $5 a month. Patreon.com/daddyissuespod.
Wait. I didn't write that down. What was that? I didn't write that down.
It'll be right here for them too. Watching, but Patreon.com/daddyissuespod. On Patreon, follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
We should ask
watch our YouTube, subscribe.
We should ask our listeners who they think should be the most influential.
Comment down below on the YouTube video who you think is the most influential person of the last year.
We should also put it on Instagram. I'm curious to know what people think, who they would recommend.
Yeah.
Besides me. Or me.
No. They should write you. All right. Jenks. Love you. Bye. Bye.
You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.